jumped.
Jumped where?
Up, look up.
Where are we? Exactly
Oh,
where
it's
we
the
were.
Byzantium, isn't it?
Move your feet.
So what if the gravity fails?
I thought about that.
And?
And we'll all plunge to our death. See? I thought about it. Of course, it's still alive. There's
Cheeky.
no way to override them. It's impossible.
How impossible?
2 minutes.
Dr. Song, I've lost good clerics today. You trust this man?
I absolutely trust him.
He's not some kind of madman then.
I absolutely trust him.
Love that.
Taking your word. How long have we got?
5 minutes max.
9.
5.
5, right, yeah.
Why'd you say 9?
I didn't.
Yeah, why'd you say that? There's something going on here. Is this some kind of residual?
8.
What did you say?
Nothing.
A forest in a bottle on a spaceship in a maze. Have I impressed you yet, Amy Pond?
7.
7.
I'm sorry, what?
You said 7.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
What have you done to Amy?
There's
Yeah.
something in her eye.
What's
Ah.
We are.
What's he talking about? Talked around 5.
5. Fine.
I mean, 5.
Ooh. The music.
Fine.
Laugh.
Because you haven't noticed yet, sir. The doctor in the TARDIS hasn't noticed.
Ah.
No, wait.
Just like Olivia Colman's character mentioned. There it is. The crack.
Yes.
Here's that music. Whoa. It's tough though, there's so many of them, right? He'll get out of it. He always does.
That's pure time energy. You can't feed on that. That's not power. That's the fire at the end of the universe. And I'll tell you something else.
Ha!
Never let me talk.
Slipped right out. Left his jacket behind though.
How did you get past them?
Found a crack in the wall and told him it was the end of the universe.
What was it?
The end of the universe? Let's have a look there.
Doctor, she's got seconds.
How would you starve your lungs?
I'd stop breathing.
Amy, close your eyes.
Put something over her eyes.
No, I don't want to.
Good, because that's not you. That's the angel inside you. It's afraid. Do it. Close your eyes. We're too exposed everywhere, and Amy can't move. And anyway, that's not the plan.
There's a plan?
I don't know yet. I haven't finished talking. Right, Father, you and your
I love
you're
him.
gonna stay here, look after Amy. I don't need you.
I don't care. Where Dr. Song goes, I go. What?
Ah. Yeah.
You two engaged or something?
Yes, in a manner of speaking.
I'll be back for you as soon as I can, I promise.
You always say that.
Always come back. Amy, later. River, gonna need your computer.
Ah. That's nice.
Amy, you need to start trusting me. It's never been more important.
The crack in my wall. How can it be here?
I don't know yet, but I'm working it out.
His tone completely changed there.
Remember what I told you when you were 7?
What did you tell me?
No. See, that's not the point.
Now, how does he have his jacket on though?
You have to remember.
Is that a continuity error? Because he had his jacket on.
Readings from a crack in the wall.
And there he is. No jacket. Oh shit. Is this
Dr.
it?
Song is in my personal custody. I released her from the storm cage containment facility 4 days ago, and I'm legally responsible for her until she's accomplished her mission and earned her pardon. Just so we understand each other.
Okay, it's out there now.
But how is a duck pond if there aren't any ducks? And she didn't recognize the Daleks. Okay, time can shift. Time can change. Time can be rewritten. Ah. Oh.
Hang on, what about the other 2? Why not just wait until they're back?
What are the 2?
The ones you sent before.
I didn't send anyone before.
Oh,
You did, I
whoa.
heard you.
Time can be unwritten.
Amy, there never was
Oh,
a
so
Chris
yeah.
or a Philip on this mission, I promise.
They just forgot almost
I heard
instantly.
you.
The Cyber King, a giant Cyberman, walks over all of Victorian London and no one even remembers.
We have to move it. The angels could be here any
From the special.
Never mind the angels, there's worse here than angels.
Ah.
I'm not going.
Listen to me. It's important. You can't trust her.
Trust who?
Whoa.
Dr. Song, you think you know her, but you don't. You don't understand who or what she is.
Just tell me why she was in Storm Cage.
She killed a man. A
Oh.
good man. A hero to many.
Who?
You don't want to know, sir. You really don't.
Who did she kill?
Sir, the angels are coming.
A hero to many.
wish I'd known you better.
I think so. You know me at my best.
Huh. That's a great line.
Ready?
Content.
Yeah. A good man, a hero to many. That sounds like someone I know.
It's never gonna work.
What else have you got? River, tell me!
How do we stop it?
Feed it.
Feed it what?
A big, complicated space-time event should shut it up for a while.
Like what, for instance?
Like me, for instance!
Oh man. Oh shit. Oh shit.
What's that?
It's a warning. There are angels around you now.
This should be quite the shot. Yes, it is. Whoa. They're moving. They're showing movement. Ah.
Don't open your eyes. You're on the flight deck. The doctor's here. See? Told you I could get it working.
River Song, I could bloody kiss you.
Oh, maybe when you're older. What's that? I've travelled in time. I'm a complicated space-time event.
I've traveled in time.
Serious, compared to me, these angels are more complicated than you, and it'd take every single one of them to amount to me, so get a grip.
Doctor, I can't let you do this.
No, seriously, get a grip.
You're not gonna die here.
Hold on, hold on.
River, Amy, get a grip. I think they've forgotten where they're standing. I think they've forgotten the gravity of the situation. Or another way, angels.
You hold on tight and don't
They're about to fall.
for anything.
Whoa. Marigold.
You,
I love her.
me, handcuffs. Must it always end this way?
Oh, it does end like that for her.
What now? A good man.
A very good man. The best man I've ever known.
Oh, okay. It is. It is meant to be the doctor.
Who?
It's a
Who?
long story, Doctor. It can't be told. It has to be lived. You'll see me again quite soon. When the Pandorica opens.
Ooh.
Pandorica.
I'll see you there.
I look forward to it.
I remember it well.
Ah. Great line. Great dialogue in this episode, man. Until next time, River Song. Whoa.
Time can be rewritten.
Let's keep that in mind. That is a lovely shot.
You're running from River. I'm running too.
Yeah, from the big day.
Blimey.
I know. This is the same night we left, yeah?
We haven't gone 5 minutes.
I'm getting married in the morning.
Oh, his hair's shorter.
Why did you leave it here?
I was alone in the dark and I nearly died. And it made me think
Well, yes, natural, I think sometimes. Well, lots of times.
about what I want. About who I want.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
she's been thinking about this for a long, long time, right?
In one very simple word, even you can understand.
Oh,
You're getting married in the morning.
Well, the morning's a long time away. What are we going to do about that?
Amy, listen to me. I am 907 years old.
Do you understand?
Emilia.
And this can't ever work.
Oh, you are sweet, Doctor, but I really wasn't suggesting anything quite so long term.
Whoa.
It's you. It's all about you. Everything. It's about you.
It is, isn't it?
Hold on.
It was certainly starting to feel like that a few episodes ago.
Quite possibly, the single most important thing in the history of the universe is that I get you sorted out right now.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
She's up for a one-night stand before...
And for those of us
Oh,
who can't read the base code of the
26th.
universe,
Amy's time.
All right, folks. June 26th, 2010, the day Amelia Pond, Amy Pond, is supposed to get married. But right at the end there, the big revelation, and of course it's set up throughout the episode as well, that this is the day this bang happens, that the crack comes into existence, right? The day Amelia Pond gets married. So yeah, the one thing that became really clear in this episode is that there is a lot of setup. A lot of narrative setup here, perhaps since episode 1, the 11th hour. I have a feeling I'll be going back to that episode for a few things as this season progresses. Already I'm kind of going back to certain moments from that episode that really stuck out even back then. But now, yeah, my attention is certainly, kind of pointed towards those scenes once again. Yeah. It's starting to feel like there is something large at play here, something really exciting at play here in terms of the setup, going all the way back to the first episode of this new series, the 11th hour being that episode. But yeah, this is it. And, the doctor believes that it might be the most important thing at this moment in time to get Amelia Pond or Amy Pond sorted. It might be the most important thing for the universe. Now, of course, there's that moment, Amy Pond kind of making the move, right? She made the move on the doctor. Now, before I go any further, I don't think this is out of the blue. This doesn't feel out of character to me. To me, it was clear that, as a young child, she looked up to the doctor as a father figure, perhaps, as a guardian figure, essentially. But then as she grew up, that thought kind of turned into more of a perfect fairy tale type companion or partner, right? So to me, it doesn't feel like out of the blue or out of character for Amy Pond to, make this move, to initiate this. Essentially one night stand is what she was looking for here. She didn't really want anything long term. But yeah, again, I would love to get your thoughts on this. I could tell this is one of those scenes or one of those moments that might not be, I'm sure it's a bit of a divide. It's got to be, I could just tell it has to be one of those moments that a lot of people might not have liked. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. The first time you saw this scene, it's certainly, it's certainly one of those whoa moments, right? But again, I don't feel like it's out of character. To me, it actually feels like, yeah, this is something that probably would have happened at some point, and it's happened. Though I don't think it's going to escalate any further than that, even though Amy is really in the mood at the moment. But yeah, you see the doctor realizes, okay, a lot of these things are happening, or Amy Pond seems to be at the middle of a lot of this. And it was starting to feel like that for a few episodes now, that indeed it is Amy Pond's presence that is kind of making this crack appear, or the crack is following Amy Pond around, or her presence is causing the crack. And of course, in that sense, if you go back to the 11th hour, it did feel like, there's a lot of setup here for Amy Pond's character, her companion character, that, there's certainly much more, something large at play here. There's a lot of unknowns in that episode that are still unknowns at as of this point. So yeah, clear setup, exciting setup here, that is probably going to, progress throughout the series, leading up to potentially the finale perhaps, and maybe even further on. Now I'll return to Amy Pond in a bit, and some of the really exciting and intriguing setup that's going on here. But, the episode as a whole, yeah, I thought that was a really good episode, really great episode. River Song, I adore River Song, I really do. It was just fantastic to see her again. Though I must say, as of this point, Silence in the Library and Forest of the Dead is still my favorite appearance of River Song, those two appearances in that two-parter. But here, it was so lovely to see her again. And of course, there's a great setup for the next time I might get to see her. They mentioned the Bone Meadows in the first part. And now she mentioned, I'll see you again once the Pandorica opens. So, great setup there. Meaning I'll see her again. Perhaps in this season as well, right? Because the Pandorica has been established since the 11th hour. So yeah, it's exciting that I might get to see her again in this season or this series. And of course, in that sense, it appears that, Matt Smith's Doctor and River Song might be the pair that reoccurs the most, right? Though, of course, there is set up there that her first ever doctor might be Capaldi's doctor, right? Given the things she's mentioned, going back to Tennant's River Song run-in and this run-in as well. But since this is essentially really in the beginning stages of Matt Smith's doctor, I feel like her and River Song might be the most prominently featured pairing of River Song and the doctor, right? So that's exciting because I do like them together. And that final scene, I mean, before I even get to that final scene of, their goodbye, essentially, I absolutely love the riffing. Yeah, the Doctor and River Song. I love the dialogue in this episode. A lot of really memorable lines, really, snippy dialogue. So I'm really loving the dynamic River Song and Matt Smith's Doctor have. Again, great credit to the writing here. A lot of fun and snippy writing. But of course, it's not all fun and games, right? Because River does get to see some of that anger on display as well. And given this Doctor's disposition, given Matt Smith's take on the Doctor, those moments of him getting angry really hit hard. They really, catch you. They certainly caught me. As it catch River Song as well, right? She almost has a bit of a, jump scare as he freaks out the first time and gets really angry. He implores her to share her ideas because at this moment in time, this is all he had, right? And I'm really loving Matt Smith's take on the Doctor. It really is quite unique. It really is quite different from Tennant's Doctor, and that's exactly the thing I wanted here. I really wanted a different take from Tennant's Doctor, from Eccleston's Doctor. And I love that this Doctor is not trying to blend in. I've mentioned this a few times, but I really love that really unhinged, out there nature of this Doctor. It certainly feels like this is the most alien Doctor I've seen yet out of the three I've seen so far. And, again, Matt Smith brings such a unique look to it all as well, right? Given his facial structure. I mean, he's a handsome dude, for sure. I mean, in that sense, I could even say, I've got a bit of a man crush on Matt Smith. But yeah, his look certainly plays a part as well here. I feel like his look really adds to that screen presence of his. And he certainly has screen presence, no doubt about it. I'm really just loving everything about this Doctor so far. I have no complaints at all. I'm just loving this take. He's got a lot of these really endearing mannerisms about him. He'll do this laugh. He'll say something. He'll do the laugh. It was River Song. She mentioned Pandorica, and he just goes Pandorica. Ha! He just does this really endearing thing, right? He'll say something and he'll do that little smile or that laugh of his. And of course, that whole notion of the fairy tale is certainly present throughout this episode as well. It was really prominently featured, or it was a prominent feature of the first episode, right? The 11th hour. This episode really, you have characters of the show itself now really mentioning the whole, fairy tale aspect of this. And of course, you have Amy Pond and the red sweater, like I brought up in the last episode, lost in this forest, just like the, Red Riding Hood, right? So, the whole fairy tale aspect is certainly front and center at this point in this episode as well. And, speaking of this forest, the space forest or the forest within the Byzantium, I thought that was such a fantastic location for this episode, for this story. At first it kind of felt like maybe it'll be in the interior of the Byzantium, right? The corridors. And that was certainly effective really early on, as they're trying to escape the angels that are trying to get in, and they do get in. There's a lot of really effective shots in there. Of course, a lot of us have seen these types of shots or this type of setup in films over the years, but, it was quite effective nonetheless. It was great to see that all of a sudden, they get in there, but then the location switches, right? The forest becomes the main area for the setup of the story, and I really thought it was quite effective. I love the moment as the light from the crack is kind of emitting this glow right into the forest, and then of course one by one they all kind of disappear, or two at first, and then one by one they all disappeared, leaving Amy Pond by herself. Now, that was also a narrative device that was kind of really firmly established in this episode, right? The fact that, people's existence can be erased altogether, right? And then they also, brought up the notion of people forgetting, entire moments in history, such as, that steampunk Cyberman from the next Doctor, right? So that was cool. That was a really cool callback to have this Doctor mention that as well. So, this narrative device is certainly at play now. And it feels like it's going to be utilized throughout this series, and it's going to play a major part in the story that this series is trying to tell. And this episode had one of my favorite scenes of this new era of Doctor Who, the Matt Smith era, the Moffat era, the death scene for Octavian, for Father Octavian, who I really, really liked in this episode. Ian Glenn was just fantastic in that role. And, you know, part of me is kind of sad that he's already gone. You know, part of me hoped that maybe he could be a reoccurring character even. But yeah, the death scene itself is quite affecting. It's quite an emotional scene. You see that it had quite an effect on the Doctor as well, right? You see that slowly he starts to have some respect for this individual. You see in the first part, there is a bit of a spiky attitude towards Father Octavian, right? But you see in this episode, he does come to respect him. I just thought there's so much great dialogue in that scene. Again, Ian Glenn's delivery is quite fantastic. I think, sir, you knew me at my best. Wow. You know, yeah, it really gets you, doesn't it? It had me teary-eyed, especially because I saw Matt Smith really teary-eyed over this. He really sold that. He really sold that, and it certainly got me as well. A great scene, not just for this series, for series 5, but Doctor Who as a whole. I'd say that's one of my favorite scenes, for sure. Really was quite affecting. Now then, let's get to that moment in the forest. The more I'm thinking about it, the more it's starting to feel like, okay, that is by design. You know, it feels like too big of an oversight to have something like that. And there is too dramatic of a shift in the Doctor's attitude, right? And his demeanor for that to be a continuity error. And I'm speaking of his jacket being left behind, right? And of course, the fact that they really bring your attention to the jacket being left behind, you know, as it's hanging from one of the angel's hands, right? They really bring your attention to that. And then later, you know, they show him running off, and then they later show us that he doesn't have his jacket anymore. Yet, in this particular scene I'm, you know, about to get into, he does have his jacket. And not just his jacket, his whole demeanor is different, right? It's and I think even that is being really brought to the audience's attention here, right? The demeanor, the shift in demeanor. Because right before he leaves Amy, you know, he's quite excitable. He's kind of in this adventure mode, kind of just gives her a tap on the head. Later, Amy, right? Just split moments later, a few seconds later, you know, there's this gentle, caring, somber tone about it as he returns. And it's not just that scene either. You know, earlier in the episode, there's a lot of setup, you know, as he's being really upfront about, oh, you're dying. And he's telling her to shut up so he can think. There's quite a shift in demeanor, right? So I think that has to be by design. I don't think I've just clocked a continuity error. Though I think I did clock a bit of it at the end there, as his hair is a bit shorter, right? As they show up in Amy's bedroom. That I think is a bit of a continuity error. You know, they just, I guess, filmed it at a different point and his hair was a bit shorter. You know, in that sense, I really love his hairstyle. I love the floppy hairstyle he has in this. It really matches this Doctor, his personality, right? And a lot of times he'll be kind of like in his face, you know, covering half of his face. I think it fits this Doctor just perfectly. It really does. Much like how Tennant's hair fit that Doctor perfectly. But, you know, going back to, you know, that change in demeanor, he jets off, right? Leaves Amy there. And then moments later, again, you know, the hands come in. It's really a sweet moment. You know, at first I thought, okay, maybe he's kind of running off and he realizes, hold on a sec. You know, let me go back and reassure Amy. But, you know, I'm starting to think maybe that's not the same Doctor. I'm really starting to think that's not the same Doctor, because as he runs off, you know, you see in the effect of the dialogue that he, from a distance, he's saying, oh, I need your computer, right, to River Song. And then moments later, he just kind of slowly approaches her, right? So I'm starting to feel like this is not the same Doctor. Or it is the same Doctor, but maybe he showed up from a different timeline, or he showed up from the future. That's the feeling I'm getting here. But yeah, you know, the shift in demeanor and the tone is quite noticeable, and I think that's by design. It's meant to get the audience to notice these changes, you know, in a split second almost. So yeah, and of course the big red flag here is the fact that he has his jacket on, right? Again, at first I thought maybe it's a continuity error, but no. This feels like it's something else entirely. So yeah, you know, there's something going on here, something grand going on here. Now, this whole notion of asking her about something he told her at the age of 7, yeah, clearly that's something important that is going to come into play at some point. Perhaps, you know, it's going to be important to the end game of this series, to this story arc, that she remembers this. Now that in itself kind of takes me back to a scene from the 11th hour, right? You know, it's that scene of Emilia Pond in the morning, sitting on the suitcase, and then you know, of course, that iconic sound of the TARDIS materializing, right? And she looks up and she has a smile, cuts to older adult Emilia Pond or Amy Pond in her bed. That scene always kind of stuck out, right? I still didn't really know, I still don't know at this point if that was a dream or if that actually is a scene. Could this be the moment he said something to her? He came back to her at that moment and told her something, and he's asking her to remember that now. And is he, see, the next question then becomes is he asking her to know if she remembers, or is he asking her to remember because he needs to know from her, right? And then maybe potentially he goes back to young Amelia and tells her. So yeah, you know, it's really starting to feel like there's something much larger at play here. And, you know, there's a lot of really great and intricate setup. But yeah, you know, I think, you know, my theory for this one, my big theory, I guess, for this one is that, okay, that's not the same Doctor. Because it to me feels like there's too many telltale signs. There's too much deliberate attention being drawn to some of these things. His jacket being left behind. Then this Doctor has a jacket on. And his tone is just completely different to the Doctor that is there in the forest. So yeah, something really quite exciting going on here. But essentially, it appears that it is quite important that Amy or Amelia remembers the thing the Doctor told her at the age of 7, right? It's important to the future, essentially. You know, that has me thinking now, the figures, right? This is going back to the fantastic conclusion to the 11th hour that's seen in Amelia's bedroom as, you know, this sweeping shot of her figures she's created over the years, and then it kind of goes to the dress, right? The big moment. Did the Doctor have a jacket on at that point in time? And I ask that because young Amelia made those figures, right? As a child. But it's adult Amelia that sees the Doctor kind of put together his outfit, right? By the end of the 11th hour. But those figures are made at a much younger age. Yeah, I'll have to go back to the 11th hour and to, you know, really make sure. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe he didn't have a jacket on in any of those figures she created. And, you know, going back to that notion of her having thought of this individual for a long, long time, you know, there's even that setup that she made Rory dress up as the Doctor at points, right? So it really isn't out of character that she kind of pounces on the Doctor in the conclusion of this episode, right? In that manner, that she has those urges. And speaking of setup, let me, you know, circle back and perhaps conclude with the lovely River Song once again. Now, I feel like, you know, they've made it really quite clear, you know, once again, going to that notion of it feeling quite deliberate that they are hinting at the man she killed being the Doctor, a good man, the best I've ever known, a hero to many, right? As Father Octavian also mentioned, it appears that, yeah, they're really trying to make you think it was the Doctor. Now then, could this be a misdirect? Could this be a red herring, right? Because they're really, by the end of it, it really felt like they are, you know, trying to establish that, yes, indeed, she does end up killing the Doctor. Again, you know, even that, I'm not really sure. There might be something more to it once I get to it, right? Because surely there has to be much more to it than a simple, oh yeah, she ends up killing the Doctor. I feel like there's got to be, clearly there's going to be an explanation for this, a reason for this. And again, I'm not even sold just yet that she actually literally kills the Doctor. But you know, given the fact that it's River Song and the connection River Song and the Doctor have, right? The bond they have, I doubt it's as simple as her just killing the Doctor. So that is exciting in itself as well, you know, getting to that part of the story. And, you know, speaking of really cool callbacks, and this one's a bit of a sad one, you know, because, you know, she mentioned the handcuffs must always end like this for us. Unfortunately, you know, her death, I've seen her death scene, right? At that point in time, the Doctor is handcuffed to that pole. He's handcuffed to something, right? So yeah, it does end like that for her, doesn't it? But, you know, that also means I'm going to see this as a reoccurring thing down the line as well, right? Because the fact that she's mentioning it means that it's happened already. And the Doctor's yet to experience that as well, right? More incidents like that. Be it Matt Smith, be it Capaldi. You know, really, River Song is one of the most exciting parts of Doctor Who for me at this point. I adore the character. I love the actress playing River Song. Like I mentioned, I've got a bit of a crush on River Song and the actress playing River Song. So yeah, I've got to say, it's one of the most exciting parts of Doctor Who, this reoccurring character. Right then, I think that's about it for this one. Really quite enjoyable, a lot of great setup, a lot of head-scratching moments, a lot of moments that make you kind of want to go back to earlier episodes. So yeah, you know, I'm really enjoying this so far. I really am. And, you know, the directing of this episode was really quite noticeable. The pacing was quite fantastic. And I noticed that the director was Adam Smith, who was also the director for the last episode and 11th Hour. So it certainly makes sense that these two episodes have been a bit more in line with the quality of the first episode, the 11th Hour, right? So yeah, really quite enjoyable. So if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. You know, I would love to hear your comments and thoughts about this episode and some of the things that played out in this episode. If you're interested in early access or perhaps even full length, consider checking out the Patreon page. The link is in the description or the pinned comment. Also, there's a link to social media if you're into that, Twitter specifically. Yeah, so that's about it for this one. Thank you for joining me and thank you for your time. And I hope to see you again soon for the next one. So until then, take it easy.